Hi, my name is Patrick Ward, and I'm from Tampa, Florida in the US, and this is my Week 5 assignment for the Introduction to Music Production course. Today I'm going to talk about short delay effects, specifically the modulated effect called flanger and phaser. I'll be using a piece of music I've been working on and trying to find which of these effects works best within the musical context of the overall mix. Let's listen to the overall mix first so that we can compare how these effects might help. As you can hear, the electric guitar is there, but it's a bit hidden when played within the full mix. I want to give the electric guitar a little bit more character and bring out that spacey 60s sound that it's hinting at. Let's take a listen to the guitar on its own. So it sounds good, but let's open up the flanger effect and see how we might be able to affect the guitar with that. As you can see, the flanger is very similar to the chorus in that it mixes a short delay input signal and then modulates that signal over time with a low frequency oscillator or LFO. But in addition, the flanger also feeds the effect signal back into the input of the delay line, and this gives it a spacey underwater kind of sound which can be kind of groovy. The feedback fader is what adjusts that feedback into the delay line itself. The speed knob lets you adjust the frequency or the rate of the LFO. The intensity fader down here lets you adjust how much modulation is being added back in. And then the mix fader lets you adjust the wet and the dry signal. Let's take a listen to the flanger and see how it might affect the electric guitar. Can you hear that feedback? That's what's giving it that spaced out groovy mix we're hearing. I like it. It sounds good and it might work well within our particular mix, but let's explore the phaser next and see how that might work. As you can see, the phaser is much more complex. Its sound is similar to a flanger, but not as uniform, and it can create some really atmospheric swells of varying degrees. The phaser also has built-in low-pass and high-pass filter circuits that you can work with. Here is the feedback fader. The ceiling and floor frequencies can be adjusted within Logic X Pro. The order fader here lets you adjust what type of phaser algorithm is actually being used. And then the envelope sort of adjusts between the ceiling and the floor. These are your LFO frequency adjustment knobs here. You can set the phase adjustment between the LFOs itself. You can set a different mix between the LFOs and an envelope between them. And then finally the output mix lets you adjust the wet and dry signals as you might have done within the flanger. So let's listen to the phaser. As you can hear, it sort of swells in and out. And there are lots of presets within Logic Pro X that you can work with. Here's something that's, drastically different. I kind of like the way that the 6-stage phaser and maybe even the 8-stage phaser swells in and out. But how does that fit within the musical context of our overall mix? Let's take a listen to the phaser applied to the electric guitar with the entire mix being played. I can hear it. It sounds good, but it seems to sort of swell in and out of range at times and doesn't quite fit the musical context that we're working with. Let's turn the phaser off and go back to the flanger and see how it sounds within the overall mix. Yeah, I like that. That's a sort of spaced out groovy sound that I was looking for. Let's compare it to the mix without any effects being applied. And then finally back with the flanger applied. I like that. So as you can see, and as we've learned, it's important to experiment. Each effect can be useful on its own, but it has to fit the musical context you're working with. And in this case, the flanger just seemed to be a better fit to me. I hope this was useful and informative for you, and thank you for watching.